And welcome to the Kiosk Presents. Today I have Roman Suarez, disaster preparedness expert and member of Allstate's National Catastrophe Team, talking to us about natural disasters and how you can stay prepared. Thank you so much for joining us, Roman.
Well, thank you for having me.
All right, now, what type of natural disasters are some of the more dangerous ones people should be aware of?
Well, personally, I feel that tornadoes are the most devastating natural disasters that you can face. And they come up very quickly. Nevertheless, you can still prepare, heed the advice of the authorities as these storms approach.
Okay, like I know in Western New York we are on a minor fault line, but we haven't had any terrible things. Also in our local area we do have a small hurricane alley directly on the road we're filming from. So it is not necessarily outside the realm of possibility that a disaster could strike. How do we get a preparedness plan or kit together?
Well, again, a preparedness plan is critical for every family to have. You should have an evacuation plan. Let friends and family members know where you plan to go. Should the authorities suggest that you evacuate or mandate that you evacuate, have a safe room in your home that you can go to in the event of tornadoes, which can be spin off of hurricanes or just weather, high winds. The emergency kit is also part of that plan. And by that I mean have your documents, identification, insurance policies for your automobile, your home, have water supply for several days for you and your family, have your medicines if you take medicines on a daily basis, have non-perishable foods in case you have to go to a shelter that may or may not have those supplies readily available at the beginning. So be prepared. Share the information with your family and friends, and be safe.
Okay. Now, you say keep water on hand. Is there any particular way to keep it stored? Do you just keep water purification pills? Is bottled water good enough for most situations?
For the most part, I would think that bottled water is the best way to go. You should replenish it every year, but it can last for an entire year. So a storm can happen basically at any time of the year. And it's not just summertime. There could be winter storms, especially in your area, that could have a significant impact over a period of days without power and without water, possibly due to infrastructure problems.
It was only about 6 years ago that we had the October surprise that wiped out most of our area's power and took down all the trees because the leaves were still on the trees. Snow hit early October, and it just devastated the area. And those who were prepared were on top of it, and those who are not were sort of left struggling as people rushed in to help them.
And that makes all the difference. Being prepared ahead of time, expecting the worst and hoping for the best, but preparation is the key.
Now, how do you protect your property that might get damaged or so on in the event of some of these disasters? Like I know one of my friends, branch fell, hit their car, crushing the frame, and it was just ruined. But luckily she was covered as far as insurance goes.
Well, one of the things that you should consider doing before high wind seasons or even before the winter begins, because of what you just mentioned, heavy snow, ice in the wintertime, is trim your trees. Trim them back so that if they do fall due to weight of ice or wind, that they don't hit your property. It's always a good idea to keep those trees trimmed at least once a year.
Very good advice. What you mentioned a safe room real quick. What room in the house makes the best start for a safe room?
Well, it's different in every home. It would be suggested that you contact a contractor, someone that is familiar with construction, and he or she may be able to recommend in your specific home what is the best place to go in the event of a tornado or very high winds. It's, again, different in every home because just about every home is constructed differently. Ideally, you don't want to be in a room with windows, so most of the time it's either a bathroom or an interior closet with interior walls to protect you. But consult someone that knows about the construction business, and they should be able to guide you in that direction.
That's a lot of good advice for people in case of disasters. I know if you check out FEMA's website, they have a lot of disaster preparedness stuff on their site, as does the CDC. Do you guys have any websites or information that we can go to for more information on disaster preparedness?
Absolutely. You can go, whether or not you're insured with Allstate, allstate.com, and we have a great deal of information there, including a program we call the Digital Locker, which will help you inventory the personal property in your home and thus make a claim, should you need to make one, a little easier. As you pointed out, FEMA at floodsmart.gov is a great website to go to familiarize yourself with flood insurance, whether you need it or not in your area, and what it does and does not cover.
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure having you. Thank you so much for pointing out some helpful tips for getting people ready. Of course, one thing we didn't get to talk about, first aid kits are essential in your preparedness kit just to make sure things stay safe. Hopefully no one locally will need to use any of this knowledge anytime soon.
I hope not.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Roman, and thank you for being on the Kiosk Presents.
Thank you for having me. Have a great day.